Welcome to the Sherri Johnson Show, the podcast for real estate agents who are ready to stop chasing their next deal and start building a business that provides predictable and consistent monthly income to even double or even triple your income and sales production in less than a year. I'm Sherri Johnson, international real estate coach, speaker, consultant, and the creator of the exclusive Goldmine Pipeline strategy that's helped thousands of agents add over 6 figures to even 7 figures to their bottom line. If you're ready to generate more leads, crush your income goals, and finally play the long game, you're in the right place. Let's dig in. Well, hello there, and I am back with Sherri Johnson with the Sherri Johnson Podcast Show. I am so excited. I've got one of just the best leaders I've met in my career, actually, and it's Coach Rich Fino. And welcome to the show, Coach.
Hey, thank you. Glad to be here.
You have quite a perspective that, first of all, I had heard your name for years throughout our paths that have crossed at companies we both worked at. And just recently, we had the opportunity to partner together, and it's been great. You joined Sherri Johnson Coaching. You've got, I'm going to let you tell the audience about your background, but today's real topic is one that most agents never think about. They don't have a real plan for this. And I think you're going to walk away today with a new perspective on how you look at your business. We're really going to hone in on talking about succession planning and having an exit strategy in an industry that really doesn't really lay one out for our agents. And so it's going to be a great show. Why don't we start out? You've got an awesome 22-year background. Just give us a high level companies you've been at, roles you've had. I know you worked at some really very large companies. Give us a little bit of perspective about your 22 years.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Just real quick for your audience here. I go by Coach Fino because I'm a football coach. I'm a high school football coach. And when I went into real estate as Rich Fino, nobody cared. But as soon as I was asked this question one time, and that's what led to branding myself as Coach Fino, which is, why should somebody use you versus the 30-year industry? I was asked that question when I was just a couple weeks into it, and we struggled with that. But ultimately, when I said, the whole reason why I'm doing this is so I have the freedom to coach football, that instructor at the time said, you might be onto something. So I registered the nickname Coach Fino, and that's when my business really took off. So that's important because everything I've done related to real estate and why I love the industry is so I can live a life of significance and working with these high school football players that I've done. So love what I'm doing with that. And from a career standpoint, top agent with Howard Anna, I was a top team leader with Keller Williams. I was a vice president of agent success for Long and Foster. And now I'm blessed to currently own a franchise of real producers in South Central PA. And matter of fact, I'm coaching with you.
It's great. And it's funny. I just am so used to saying Coach Fino. I love that you're reminding everybody it is a purposeful branding, and people know you by that. And your pictures have that image of you, professional realtor, also AKA coach. I love that you reminded everyone about that. And, Real Producers Magazine, which everyone knows, is such it's grown so much. And, I've come to some events that you host, and that is a phenomenal business that you're running. The publisher and franchise owner of Real Producers Magazine in South Central PA with a phenomenal following of top agents. That's when I go to those events and I see everyone just literally you're just an icon in your market. You've also coached for some of the best companies, Viral Workman Success program. They are fantastic. So it's great. And I think when we think about the topic of either running a team, having your own solo business as an agent, I was I always knew I wanted to have a coaching company, but I can tell you that no one was talking about succession planning 30 years ago when I got licensed, 29 years ago, now 30. It's still something today in our coaching program. People don't have a plan. They are basically as good as your last sale. There's not a succession plan. If you don't have a family member, like these are the questions that come up for people. Who's taking over this book of business you've built for 25 or 30 years, or some of these people 40 years? It is a great niche. I think you have developed a really great program for it. Start by telling people, one of the lines you told me the other day that you were coaching an agent and you asked her a really great question. You can share that with the audience. But I loved her answer. So let's start with that, and then we'll go into some of the ways that you help people create a succession plan.
So in doing the research to go ahead and bring this together, it was from one of my former employers, if you will, that to bring this program together, we researched an agent who had done this pretty successfully. And the question was, hey, if you had to do this all over again, what would you do differently? And she said, it was crystal clear, and boy, did it zing me. She said, I wish I started my real estate career from day one, knowing that I was going to sell this business. I would have done it in a much more organized, easily transferable way, and probably would have made more when we actually went to sell it.
Isn't that the truth? Begin now with the plan of when I want to sell this. Did you build a scalable, saleable company? And if so, usually the big dollar question is, what do I do with this now? I've built this thing. Sometimes, I don't want to say a monster of a thing, but sometimes it is. And it's not always the case where people have family members that are next generation who want to take over. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And even with that, they need your help. So what are some of the challenges people have when they get to the point where they don't have a plan and they really do want to have a plan? And like you just said, start at the beginning of your career. But let's say someone's in their, 5th year, 10th year, and they're listening to this. What advice can you give them?
Well, first is to make sure you're motivated. If you have, there's a couple ways that people have been motivated to do this. If you have people relying on you for your income, family, and etc., and if you got hit by a car tomorrow, what would happen to that income and for your family or whoever is relying on that? And I think that's an important question. And God bless, we see people passing too young, too soon, too often. And if they haven't thought about it, they've built this thing up that usually ends up fragmenting itself, however, a broker needs to pop up if there is no plan. Secondly, the other part of motivation is, let's say you've had a great life and you feel like, hey, it's time. I'm done with the day in and day out of sales. Then get motivated or excited about that next chapter. Do you want to live with the grands? Do you want to go ahead and have that second home? Do you want to travel? Immerse yourself in that and then create that plan. What am I going to need from an income standpoint to do that, and work backwards? The third, once you have the motivation in place, the second piece is to understand how much you actually have a saleable business. And yes, we can appraise your business, if you will, and give you an idea of what kind of return you can get off that.
Do agents even realize that they have a saleable business? I feel like they typically don't. It's like that adage of like, we never retire, we just expire, which I can't even believe I said that because I don't care for that phrase at all. But I think that's I'm going to do this till I can't, move on. It's, first of all, I think your approach provides for this successful business you built can leverage you to retirement and a work-life balance we all want and deserve. And B, the goal isn't to, I don't know, most agents don't want to work when they're 75, 85. I mean, that's just not probably the norm. And it's not, I think when I got my license, when you got your license, sometimes people wore that like a badge of honor, like, I'm still out there. Look, if you are, and I think that's awesome. But I also know, you said grandchildren, you said a lot of the travel. Like there are wish list items. And I think what's so amazing about real estate is you've got a business that is referral based, that is worth something. So tell us, how do agents look at, what's my business worth, and how do they even start looking at what would their business actually be worth?
So at the core of this is all we're doing is transferring trust. If I have a list of clients who have come back to me, that have been referred to me, and et cetera, there's evidence that they trust me and will follow my advice. And what this at the core of this transfer process is just that: can I transfer that trust to another acquiring agent or that aspect of it? So part of it, when we look at your business, if you're 100% of your business is just straight up Zillow, there's not a lot of evidence that you have the ability to transfer trust if you're not having a lot of repeat clients, sphere of influence folks. So those businesses are valued far less than those that have businesses built off companies that are, excuse me, built off referrals and sphere of influence. So if you have a good chunk of your GCI coming from that, then you have something sales.
Yeah, it really is a look in the where does my business come from. I like how you called it trust. A good friend of mine says business moves at the speed of trust. Casey Council Jiha says that. When somebody says, "Do I have something saleable?" Is it about looking at, this is what I sell every year, Rich? If I came to you, I'm an agent, and I'm like, "Can you help me?" Would you be looking at the the book of business over a period of time, and then do you help me find someone who I could sell it to, or do you help me come up with other options, like finding a person that I could mentor who would be, an ideal candidate? And I think agents get really scared about that because typically they're the one doing everything. But I've seen that work out really well, where you bring on a protege and you work out a plan with them to sell your business to them over time. What's the most common way that you help agents create a succession plan and move to the next level with their lives?
So we do take a look at your business, and it's in depth. We do look at it over a 3-year period, 3 closed year period. We look at it from we'll list every single transaction you have, and then we need you to put down the source. And we've built a system
Yes.
where it's did it come from an open house? Did it come from a sphere referral past client? There's a drop down list. So everything falls into one of those buckets. So, and then we look at your total GCI for that area. So if you have a hundred, no, let's make it, I don't know, $1 million in GCI, and 80% of your business came from some sort of referral or past client scenario, then right off the bat, you would be 800,000, 80% of $1 million in GCI is where we start. Okay. Then we break that further down. There's a few other things we look at that create a multiplier for us. So if you're familiar with how other businesses sell when they have actual assets and et cetera, that multiplier is like sometimes between 4 and 10, depending on the industry. What we have, because we have an intangible number, that number is typically between 4 and 8. So yes, we'll bring it down even further because it's an intangible service. Nobody has to keep getting your secret sauce. You just have to transfer that trust. And that number, that multiplier that we used, is based off a number of things. The first is, how solid is your database? If you're transferring a database, which is a bunch of papers in a file, in a paper file, that is far less valuable, hurts you on the multiplier, than if you have it in a CRM and organized.
Ah, what a great point.
The second is geographically. Are you geographically dense, or are you spread out over 8, 9 counties? The tighter that is, if you will, for folks, usually the more valuable. Not always, but usually the more valuable in that scenario. Third, what percent of listing are you in buyer? Just because it has to do with per dollar per hour income. Buyers take longer, if you will, versus having that listing side.
I
And then
love this.
the fourth, we do dive into your expenses, how profitable that is. So we'll get a net profit number, if you will, off a GCI number, and that'll all factor into a multiplier for you. And then ultimately, what that represents is what a buyer should get in return income over anywhere from a 3 to 5 year period.
This is great. It makes total sense. I love the breakdown of those factors that go into these multipliers, if you will. I think agents, again, most don't have a business plan to run their business, just to run their business. It's so important to have both a business plan and a life succession plan of your business. And when we do Goldmine Pipeline and we always say there's build a predictable, scalable, and then I always say and saleable, right? Because you can visit with my good friend, coach and partner, Coach Fino, because in the end, right, you are building an asset or you are building something that you walk away from and you get nothing from it. And that is the saddest part of this whole thing, is that if you don't have a plan for that, it is going to go, like you said a few minutes ago, it's going to get scattered to whomever. And all the years of relationship equity with those clients is gone. And I can't tell you, after running, some big companies myself, and buyers and sellers calling and saying to me, I don't remember my agent's name. Or, do they have someone taking over their business? And my answer, unfortunately, was no, they don't. They passed away, and there isn't a person who takes over their business. Successful agents who do this with you, who do this math with you, who take the time to sit down and go through the numbers, will have a better, let's call it, runway to retirement. How long does this process usually take for someone? Is it months? Is it a year? Or is it a few weeks? Like, how does it vary?
It's usually up to the someone in terms of
Okay.
that. But let me share this. There's a book called The Golden Handoff that I'd read that was part of the research, and then I've done a number of informal interviews related to this. And here's the reality of the fact: some people say I sold my business, and they just created an informal referral agreement with a particular person.
Yes.
The people that have done that have gotten between 20 to 30% of what they thought they would get when they had this. The devil is in the details. So when we document what the trust transfer activities are, week 1, week 2, month 4, month 5, all the way out to however long of a cooperating working agreement you'll have, that's very important for a commitment standpoint. And then how much you document and how much detail of that is how much of a return you'll get. So really, Sherri, it starts about where are you at. If you are one of those that have your database in paper files, then it might take us longer to get them into a CRM. But if we can get that into that scenario, your matching process and then making sure everybody's fully understanding of the agreement, getting the details, I would imagine if you do it right, I haven't seen it done in less than 3 months if you do it right.
Well, what's so crazy is I just heard you say that people who did an informal, I'm just going to get a referral off of whomever, only get 20 to 30% of what their company is worth. That which stopped me right here. And I've seen that. I've seen that movie. I've seen people do it. I've helped people sell to other people, and I saw agents overpay for a book of business, which they were completely fine doing. They wanted it, and that's what they did. This is so insightful. And the fact that, we at Sherri Johnson Coaching have a really what I would call certified coach to do this for you is amazing to me, because you can't start too early. And the best advice I heard was start now, even if you're going to do this for another 10 plus 15 years, whatever it may be, start now. I love everything that you just said. And I think, people just don't realize the importance of a CRM today. And if you don't have a CRM today, like it's a non-negotiable for people, and it's not a scary thing. I mean, our company provides 3 different, options for a CRM. You can't go wrong. This is, you don't have a referral business because you're not using a CRM. You can't sell your company effectively because you're still using, a paper system. So all good stuff. I want to ask you, I know you recently made the change to the EXP brokerage. And I wanted to have you share some of the insights of why you made that change and what caused that to be a business decision for you. This, I guess, in 25, you made the move in 25.
Yeah, first off, it's about the leader. I'm a bigger fan of leaders that inspire me than I am about any particular brokerage or brand. I'll be the first to say that. Lee had signed on to work with you. Lee and I worked very closely together along in Foster, and when Lee McGinnis reached out, that was an easy yes. The second is though, as I researched that and knowing that I'd there, bottom line is I'm the guy that wants to have everything on my own without the liability of having everything on my own. So I could have had gotten my broker's license, my own brokerage a long time ago. Find that I can enjoy the same benefits of that and freedom that comes with that with this EXP model, where I'm able to create a community and support agents as if they were part of my own brokerage without a lot of that liability.
The cost, liability, day-to-day operations. I want to just note that I just heard you say you joined because of the people, and I love that. And I think people join people, and this partnership is attractive, and it is, EXP. People aren't joining here because the model is, you said it, the model's the model, but it's the people that you get to partner with and be in business with. And I think that was one of the biggest reasons I joined too. It was really attractive to partner and own and have a stake in this together. One of us wins, we all win. And also the fact that you don't have to have, you don't have to have the liability. I wanted to have a brokerage in Ohio and in Florida. And I was like, this is great. I'm going to have to, buy. It's so expensive to run. And every team that joins us, every broker owner that I speak to about dropping the liability, the expense, the overhead, the sleepless nights, the, really a profit, but probably not as much as you could get. It's just a great vehicle. I think, you know what it is? Like someone just told me who joined us, who's a top executive, said we don't, you're really joining the vision of financial freedom, of having a plan, what we're talking about, having an exit strategy, being able to um, build from that relationship equity something really even more meaningful and impactful and change people's lives. So I'm excited you joined. I'm also excited that you're on our coaching staff, because to be honest with you, this is like this topic right now, this entire strategy needs to be part of everybody's 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plan. And what you build today will help you be able to sell it a lot better, easier, and for more money than not working on it. So we're going to do, I know we're going to have some kind of a webinar where I have you talk more about this in the future, which our followers can join us on. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
Just one other unexpected benefit to EXP that I didn't realize until I actually got here.
Yeah.
If for those that are looking to sell their business or even acquiring in that aspect of it, the revenue share model really enhances that aspect, especially if you have a team. So if you're bringing a team over and you end up selling your business to another to an EXP person, you're popping that model. Not only do you have your business sale agreement generating money, but you also have revenue share from your team and so on. So I really love the two combined very well for allowing somebody to have an exit strategy for their business.
And explain in about 10 or 15 seconds what is revenue share.
Yeah. So when anybody that you help sponsor in the business, assuming your team would follow you and anyone else that they may have, every time they close a deal, a percentage of the company dollar that would go to EXP goes to the person that's accountable in their upline that brought them in. And so that really enhances any kind of succession plan.
Yeah, I feel like the company rewards growth from its own stakeholders, the people that are building it. And that is an extremely lucrative part of this. It's also because of the way the model is set up, and it's like the Amazon of real estate brokerages or Netflix. There will never be another model like this. There might be a few people trying to copy it, but I'll tell you what, to be fully scaled at 87,000 agents right now in 34 countries, hello, that's insane. And, a very short amount of time, although 16 years, but the last 10 has been the majority of the growth. I love that you brought up that revenue share, the stock, iconing. I mean, where else can you go where you have a cap, you're at 100%, and if you sell enough houses, you actually get that $16,000 back. It's unbelievable. I interviewed someone from EXP and I said, what was your total cost to be an EXP agent? She's been at the company 8 years. She said, I'm always net positive. It's never cost me anything. And I thought she was going to say $2,000 or $5,000 maybe. Her answer, Rich, was, I'm always net positive between the stock, the revenue share, etc. So I think if you're an agent right now, and I want to ask you this question because number one, we know agents need a plan. They need a succession plan to start, even if they're not thinking about this for a time off. What 2 to 3 best practices can Coach Fino give our audience today that they can walk out with? And what do you think those would be going into 2026 right now?
Get coached. Okay. Use that coaching to help create not just momentum for the moment, but a master plan for you, for your life and your business relates to it. And third, just make sure your database is as clean and up to date in the CRM as possible. If you're doing those 3 things now, get yourself coached, create a plan for not just the moment, but for your exit. And good friend of mine, good coach of mine said, better to be ignorance on fire than knowledge on ice. And in this case, when it comes to ignorance on fire, we're talking about just be meticulous about your database, communicating with it, document it, and having it in a solid CRM.
Oh, you'll be very happy years out from now because you'll have something that is really organized and put together and worth a lot, and it will pay dividends. Okay, well, I'm going to have you back on because we could do this again and again, and we will. Everybody, Coach Fino, if you are interested in more, please visit his sites, all of his social media. You can follow him. If you want to get coaching from Sherri Johnson Coaching and specifically succession planning coaching, please just go to my website, sign up for a coaching call. We'll make sure we connect you with Coach Fino and get you in the hands so you can learn more about how you can create the succession plan. And lastly, I want to say, first of all, you're the first. This is the first podcast episode of 2026, so I love it. You're it, yeah. And we're going to have a great year together, Rich. Thank you for our partnership and what we're about to do because it's a lot of fun. We're changing lives and we're having fun in real estate, and it's just honestly, it's a blessing to have you in our team. And again, share this podcast, write a review, send it to somebody who needs to hear it, and like and follow us. And we will be back for another episode of The Sherri Johnson Show next up, and lots more to come for a great year together. Thanks, everybody. Let's go make it happen. I'll see you soon.
Thanks for tuning in to The Sherri Johnson Show. If today's episode gave you a breakthrough or an aha moment, please take action. And don't forget, you can grab your free download of the Sherri Johnson Goldmine Pipeline in the link below and start seeing results right away. Want even more personalized support? Book a free strategy call with our team or check out our coaching program starting at just $49 a month at sherrijohnson.com. Remember, it takes 5 contacts to get a yes, but with the right strategy, you can get there faster. Let's turn your potential into profits. I'm Sherri Johnson, and I'll see you next week.